How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about the Game Week 34 team selection, as well as taking a look at how the squad got on in Game Week 33 plus. Throughout the video we'll be talking about the transfers we're also going to be planning, as well as captaincy to finally wrap it up. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So as I mentioned in the Game Week 33 plus deadline with Dayvy livestream, this week is my examination week and I do write an exam, unfortunately, the day after the deadline. I will, however, try my best to do a deadline with Dayvy. We might do it like we did the last one, where it's just a little bit of a 30-minute deadline stream, jam-packed with questions and answers, as we usually do it, just in a little bit of a reduced time. So even if we don't have a full hour, we will at least have a full 30 minutes, and I'm really going to try and do that. I do think it's quite important that we do these deadline streams, as with the high intensity and low time between these game weeks, we don't have a lot of time to make decisions. So at least with the deadline stream, at least we get about an hour or 30 minutes before to really look and analyze our decisions, and also things like our captaincy. So please stay tuned to my Twitter at DayvyFPL for further updates and whether I will be doing a stream or not. But otherwise, if we do one, hopefully I see you guys there. So Game Week 33, just before we get into it, I am recording this during the Man City vs Southampton game, so that game as well as the Spurs game have not yet occurred yet, and we'll be talking about the implications of that, especially in the transfers. But just keep that in mind, the rank hasn't been updated yet. However, after the Liverpool game, I did go and check, and it was basically the exact same rank as last night. So I think there was about 20 places different, but currently we're sitting at around that 5.5k mark. We still have some players to still play, so hopefully they do well, and that'll see us creep just inside that top 5k, and that is quite a nice place to be in for the last 4 game weeks of the season. In terms of points, I don't think the points have been absolutely massive this game week as they have in the past. I think the average is going to be around the points we do get, and hopefully that still sees us with a green arrow, and hopefully you guys get a green arrow as well. So this is the team that we did have for Game Week 33. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but we will talk about a couple of things as they do affect the transfers that we are thinking about. Starting off in goal, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet. I can't believe Martinez has managed to get another clean sheet. That makes it 3 clean sheets in a row since that Leno injury. So Martinez is proving absolutely massive value for us. Unfortunately, you'll see with these upcoming fixtures, they have a lot stronger opposition in the next 3. So I don't think too many clean sheets are going to happen. But I said that against Wolves, and look what happened. Another clean sheet there. No bonus points, but I won't be too greedy with Martinez, as I still think he did really well for us getting that clean sheet. The rest of the defense, we have Trent Alexander-Arnold. That game has just basically ended. I don't think Alexander-Arnold will be getting any bonus points, so just the 6 points for him. Overall, Liverpool were quite disappointing. He looks quite strong. I do think that in the future there's going to be a little bit of a rotation there with those youngster fullbacks, but I don't think it's going to be for the full game. Probably going to be around that last 30-20 minutes. So TAA should be quite good. Doherty, no clean sheet and no attacking returns here. Wolves played a little bit worse than they usually do. I think it was coming though. They were kind of sneaking the 1-0s here and there, and then Arsenal have kind of rebounced from their poor form going at the start of lockdown, and they managed to win that game. So Doherty was substituted quite early on, I think around the 60-minute mark, for a more attacking player. So that could be something that we do see in the future. Maybe that was a sign that he wasn't in the best of form, and the manager could see that and wanted to get him off the pitch. So that's going to be a situation that we're going to have to monitor, but I'm still willing to keep the faith for a little bit more, just because of how well Wolves have been playing and how good Doherty's ceiling is. With Aurier, he is still yet to play. However, I don't have too much expectation for Serge Aurier, and it is a really tough fixture against a high-flying Everton. So with Aurier, I'm just hoping that maybe we can get an attacking return or maybe even a clean sheet there, and I think that any points will help as we try and creep on into that top 5k. The midfield, I'll talk about the Manchester United triple up. Fernandes, Martial and Rashford had an absolute field day against Bournemouth there, scoring 5 goals to Bournemouth's 2, with Fernandes the top performer there with 15 points. Obviously Greenwood also did quite well. might have even got more points than Fernandes, but he's also looks quite good at option and is quite cheap. But Fernandes and Martial and Rashford are the ones I own, and my kind of logic behind not really knowing and taking the risk on captaining one of them didn't really pay off this week, as I would have captained Fernandes or Martial, and they both scored quite well. So they do look like captaincy options going in to the final 4 game weeks of the season, and I'm just happy to have a triple up of them. But we will talk about maybe some rotation in that triple up going into the next game week. But with Fernandes, looks really solid and almost looks like the captaincy option for the next couple game weeks with just how consistent he has been. My captaincy option was obviously Salah this week. I thought that Liverpool would rebound after that Man City defeat, but unfortunately they didn't. It was really a boring game, and Salah didn't really show any intent going towards the goal. He had a couple of penalty shots there, but were looking quite soft, and I don't think he was going to be getting any of them. And to be honest, I think we were quite lucky to get an assist in the end, which took his tally to 6 points, doubled to 12. So a little bit disappointed there just because of how well my vice captain and the other Man United options did, as they would have definitely been better captaincy options. De Bruyne has not started yet. As you know, he has been on the bench for that Southampton fixture, but hopefully he will come on. There is some merit to having a player that comes on quite late on, as a lot of players are tired. I don't think their fitness has rebounded since that lockdown, and De Bruyne could have an absolute field day in those last 20 or 30 minutes. So here's hoping that he does well. The thing with De Bruyne though is even if he doesn't score well, it's just better to own him because of his high ownership. Personally, I don't think it's worth the risk of not having him, as when he does play, he does absolute wonders for us. The most exciting decision of that deadline stream was the fact that FPL Rockstar came out with team news that Connolly was in fact starting. So I wasn't going to kind of give up the temptation of starting a player against Norwich, so I went with him. The 2 points there, unfortunately, it was quite a close game between those two sides, but it was worth the risk kind of, as Saiss and Lascelles both scored less than Connolly, and I mean every point matters when you're this high up in those rankings. I'm overall happy that I did start Connolly. I've already spoken about Rashford, and then Raul Jimenez didn't have a great game against the likes of Arsenal, but overall I think Wolves didn't play that well, so he just netted that 2 points. On the bench, as I spoke about, Lascelles and Saiss not doing well. The thing I wanted to also talk about is Saiss picked up another yellow card, seems to be a yellow card magnet, so if we do play him in the future, we got to kind of take that into consideration. Then Davis unfortunately didn't score any, but unfortunately as he was third on my bench. But let's get on and look at those transfers I am considering. So this game week, I think definitely is going to be a -4 hit for us, unfortunately. I don't really want to take hits in the future, but if captaincy is taken into consideration, I think it could be worth it. We'll be talking about that in that team lineup selection. But right now, I will be presenting 2 options of transfers that I am considering. This is the first option. It consists of Davis to Son, and to get the funds, we are downgrading Rashford to Greenwood. So I spoke about Greenwood, had an absolutely stellar performance, and since that lockdown comeback, he's been absolutely sensational. And I mean, at 4.5 million, he's basically exactly half the price of Rashford, and he's almost outperforming him, which is kind of a red flag for me. And simply put, I think Greenwood is an excellent player to consider, especially if you need those funds. And I mean, with Greenwood, 4.5 million allows us to do the upgrades that we need, such as Davis to Son, for those potential good Spurs fixtures. So this is the first option I'm going to. I don't really like downgrading Rashford, as I think Rashford is still a good option, but as I spoke about, Greenwood is such a better option at cheaper the price. So the other set of transfers I was considering was Salah to Son, and then Davis to Mahrez. So this is all dependent on how Mahrez plays tonight. As I said, I am recording this during that Man City game, so I don't really have any indication of how he has played or will be playing, but hopefully maybe he does quite well and then gets taken off at that 60-minute mark, as then it kind of indicates that he should be starting that midweek fixture. So Mahrez looks like a great option since that lockdown period, and whenever he plays, he generally does score points. So that's kind of the thing with him. So this is also a transfer consideration that I am looking at. I don't really know if I want to take out the likes of Salah. I know he had a bad game against Aston Villa, but he is chasing the golden boot, so that could mean some goals in the future. But just overall, Liverpool looked spineless and didn't look too good. However, when Firmino did come on, they did look a lot better, so maybe they will play a lot better against Brighton. But these are the 2 transfers I am considering. However, as I spoke about, that Spurs fixture hasn't occurred yet, so I will be waiting to make these transfers until after that fixture, as there could be some injuries to maybe the likes of Son, or maybe Harry Kane comes out and scores a hat-trick, and he could be the best option to look at in that Spurs lineup. So going into the lineup that we will be choosing, I want to first indicate that I'm not going to be captaining Davis. That's a placeholder for Son. So yes, Son will be my captain going into Game Week 34, or whoever the Spurs option I bring in is. I just think they have a really good fixture against Bournemouth, and we've seen what the teams who've played against Bournemouth have done. Overall defensively, they just look shocking, and I really do favour Spurs in this one. It is also because the other options that I do have, maybe the likes of De Bruyne now that he has been rested, could be a really good option against Newcastle. And then Aston Villa, they've shown that defensively they've been a lot better, and with the likes of Lasala, I don't really know if I trust him anymore. Raul Jimenez could be an option, but I also don't really trust him at the moment, so I think I might as well just go for a really differential punt there and go for the likes of a Spurs attacker. So the lineup, I'm not going to talk about it too much, as I think you guys have already seen it on the screen there. The only option on the bench there is Saiss. I could play him, but at the moment I think my other players have better options there. Serge Aurier, Bournemouth have been quite attacking, but in terms of Aurier, I think he's going to get forward a lot in that game and could be on for some nice attacking returns. And then Doherty and Alexander-Arnold just offer a lot better attacking threat. Martinez, I don't think is going to be getting a clean sheet this week against Leicester, as they seem to have picked up some form right now and challenging for that top 4 spot. I definitely think they're going to be in a high flying mood. The rest of the side kind of picks itself. Obviously Rashford could be Greenwood, Davis will become Son, or Salah might be Mahrez, but that's all to be speculated still. I will confirm those transfers if I do make them tomorrow night. Otherwise I'll just make them live on the Deadline with Dayvy live stream if the transferred in players aren't going to be having a price rise. So that's going to basically wrap the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy watching. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. Please go follow me on Twitter at DayvyFPL for that updated team and whether I'm going to be doing a Deadline with Dayvy live stream. Otherwise, if I do, I'll check you guys there. I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.